Hi gang, this is Mike G from Mr. GTV. This is a very important presentation and I'm going to ask you to use your imagination. I'm going to be talking specifically about a particular celebrity who's been in our faces for decades if you're from the UK. It's a guy that started off on children's programmes and he had a puppet working with him. His initials are PS, and he then went on to be the main presenter on a morning programme on ITV, and really, how many of these celebrities are we going to experience in our lifetime that fall from grace? If you look at the story, and everything is just a story, obviously we can, as viewers and as members of the general public, being fed all this information through the media, social media, mainstream media, media organisations, and the individuals themselves as they come onto our screens and make their own proclamations of innocence or explanation, it would be very easy to stand in judgment. And there's a wonderful expression which is, there but by the grace of God go I. In other words, this could be any one of us who's in the firing line of a public inquiry based on spurious facts. But you can only, in my opinion, look at the track record. And where I'm going to go with this is expressing not disbelief but disgust and a realization that this is happening so often now. And thankfully, because of freedom of speech, which is being eroded probably because of these situations, and also thankfully because people are prepared to risk being deleted or fact-checked to get information out, that are quite often called conspiracy theorists, and I'm probably one of them. There are people who are prepared to put their neck on the line, say things as they are, and hopefully to wake up, shake up those people who just accept things at face value, God bless them. And I think if you look at certain witch hunts that have gone on over the decades, some have been justified, some haven't been justified, but they always say there's no smoke without fire. So in other words, quite often people come into the limelight and then they get away with it, if you like, or they all of a sudden they're not in the limelight, and to a large extent they're forgotten for a while, and then they try and rehabilitate themselves back into public favour. These politicians do that, you know who they are. Habitual liars, habitual manipulators, deceivers, people who try to pull the wool over your eyes. They have a personality or a charisma of respectability, but behind that there's a completely different story, and that's very true of celebrities and mainstream presenters. Some of these mainstream presenters are so-called journalists, but I don't think there are such things as journalists anymore. There's just repeaters. There's very few people who investigate anything now. They tend to repeat a narrative that the mainstream is putting out as one voice, even though it's from many different platforms and orators. So you've no longer got the right and the left, the right wing, the left wing. You know, you've just basically got one message being put out to us all. And I think if you've got a journalist or a presenter with integrity, they don't last very long, because they don't want people to question and to analyse the merit of a particular story. They just want it put out there and follow, if you like, the the auto cue. Don't think, don't question, say this, and we're supposed to don't think, just listen, don't question, and then repeat this. Well, we've got this particular individual that I started talking about, who was, if you like, a children's entertainer, and then he, you know, got into adult entertainment in terms of, you know, he was a media presenter to a more serious audience, and he was welcome in our homes as like the blue-eyed boy, with his co-host, who presents herself as the girl next door, all innocence, sweetness and light. But quite the opposite now. There's so much being revealed, and this is so common with a lot of people that we have in front of us, and we know nothing about their backstory or what's going on behind the scenes. But it's becoming more prevalent now. You know, we've got American presenters, and again I won't mention names, but who have fallen from grace. There's people who've been on their shows that have revealed that the smiley face that we see isn't the smiley face that they get, that they're quite judgmental. Quite often they get double crossed. You know, they get told that I'll look after you, you'll be safe, I'll interview you, I won't expose anything that's too difficult, I won't put you through anything that's going to be too embarrassing. And yet when it's sort of like camera action, they destroy them, you know, against the contract. And you can see that the person who's been interviewed has been set up, and these presenters smugly in sort of like self-righteous judgment set them up. And I think it's, you know, good karma when these presenters and these celebrities get held to account, that, you know, they are fake, they are actors, they are repeaters, they are not worthy really to tell us how to behave, when their behaviour is so abhorrent, so appalling, so low, so degrading. And of course this is what's going on with the PS story, isn't it? You know, this particular gentleman that we all love to know and knew to love, all of a sudden it's coming out that behind the scenes, you know, his behaviours have been known and hidden for decades, certainly within the last decade. And there's quite a deplorable situation that's been going on, that's been exposed, and there's several victims, and people now who've been on the receiving end of his sword-like tongue, for quite cutting remarks, smiling to the camera but being quite different off camera and different behind the scenes. People are now coming out of the woodwork to expose this. We're going to have a lot more of this. We're going to have a lot more of this. And I think one of the things that I want to say, which is my message here today, is that everything is an inversion of what you think it is. Pretty much everything. And I'm not trying to put you into fear or be sensational here, but nothing is what you think it is. Nothing is real. It's just an illusion. And although I could talk about this on a quantum level, I'm actually saying that school isn't school. It's not for education, it's for indoctrination. That medication isn't to make you well, it's to keep you in a place where you can be marketed to. That, you know, they've known for many years how to overcome certain diseases and viruses, or whatever words you want to use, and it's not in the interests of the industry to make you well. You know, if we had a well population, that industry would fail. So what they're doing constantly, in my opinion, is it's not a welfare system, it's an ill-fare system. It's not a health service, it's an ill health service. The banks rip you off with your own money, they tax you, and the government control your mentality. You know, the judicial system, something that's legal, illegal, it changes depending on the agenda. What was illegal 10 years ago is now legal. What was illegal 10 years ago, vice versa, what was legal is illegal, what was illegal is now legal. It changes the laws of the land. But what you've got to, in my opinion, live your life by, set your standards by, and this sounds biblical, it's the law of God, the law of good. It's whether or not something is loving and kind or evil. It's not whether it's right or wrong, because that changes. Those are man-made laws. And it's whether it's decent or indecent, and we have this morality within humanity that we just know the standard, and we know what cuts below the standard. And we've really got to get back to those basics of not accepting, rejecting, if you like, things that aren't decent, things that aren't moral, things that are low, things that are evil, and don't normalise it. And that's what's happening. It's becoming normal that these celebrities are getting exposed. It's becoming normal. We expect our politicians to lie. We know that they get voted in on a manifesto that they're not going to stick to, but so many people still play the game. And we know that, if you like, law enforcement is just the bodyguards to government, and there's no law and there's no rights, and we're living, if you like, in a business. It's that Britain is a public limited company, and it's being run very badly, and most countries and nations in Europe and outside of Europe are the same. So it's up to us to set the standard, to take the moral high ground, and we should. So the message, as I say here, is switch off television. Don't listen to politicians. They're all actors. What you think you're getting isn't real. You make friends, or you think you've got a relationship with these people on television. And what you see is not what you get. There's a Scottish presenter, a woman, you know her name, again on another morning TV programme. She's been doing it for decades, and she got pulled up on something and took to court, and she got off the charge by saying that the character she played isn't her, that she's an actor, and it was the actor that said what she said, that she doesn't have those beliefs, that she misspoke, and she was speaking using the voice of the character that she was portraying, that she'd misled the public to think she was. Now her initials are LK, work it out for yourself. But she actually went through court. She defended somebody, she'd said something out of order, and her defence was that the part she plays on her television programme, that she's loved for by millions, that's not her. That's an act, that's a character that she's playing, so she can't be prosecuted. So in that one test case, we know that what we see isn't what is. It's an illusion. Everything is an illusion. See that we're being controlled in a matrix, if you like, of a society that's designed to keep you in your place, designed to give you this illusion of freedom when there is no freedom, and safety when we know that your liberties, your safety, your freedoms can be removed from you. We've all had that happen in the last 3 to 4 years. We were told what to do and we had to do it, and there was consequences. There was a stick and a carrot. And that's what the government think we are. They think we're donkeys. That's what the media think we are. They think that we are easily controlled, and to a large extent many people are. But I'm hoping that in the same way that I'm explaining this to you today, that you're seeing it for yourself. I'm hoping that I'm saying something that you didn't need to hear me say, but what you do need to hear me say is, now you've decided that it's all BS. There's another set of initials, BS. So we've had PS, LK, and now BS. What are you going to do about it? Unplug from this matrix of control. Don't listen to it. You know, to some degree, I used to say turn off the television if it's negative. It's all negative, because you can't distinguish now between the smiley faces and the annoying faces. The, as I say, left, right, up and down, it's all the same, and the whole thing is designed to project to you a model of behaviour, an attitude, an ideology, a mindset that we're supposed to adopt to become part of the system. Well, unplug from that system, my friend. You're more powerful. You don't need the system needs you. If you unplug from it, they won't know what to do. The devices that you're watching this on and everything else on are divisive. They're using them against you. We know that because you had to have things on this device to prove that you could do things like fly and travel and, you know, IDs. They know everything that you're doing, and even though I use one, I believe I'm using mine positively, and I have unplugged from, I don't give anything ratings, even if it's something that I enjoy watching, if I believe there's an agenda to control me by watching it. I control myself. I've got a powerful mind. I don't need somebody to tell me how to think, what to do, what not to do, what to be, what not to be, what to have, what not to have. I decide for myself, and I suggest that you do the same. Be powerful, guys. Enjoy your mind. Step into your own power. Switch all this bullshit off. It's not edifying. There's a lot more stuff to come, both on the PS story and the other stories, and just realise that they're all stories for your consideration, and I would consider the value of them, because in my opinion the value is very shaky, and there's better things you can do with your time that will give you more positive energy and evolve you as a person better than watching television or listening to politicians. Be powerful. God bless.